Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm pleased to introduce John O'Leary IV. He's our speaker tonight. John has taught a wide variety of university courses, and as the grandson-in-law of Gus Reuter, John has spent years researching the James Melton Autorama, which was a tourist attraction in Hypoluxo until about 1961, I believe. This topic is near and dear to our hearts because Boynton Beach's own artist, Bernard Thomas, painted the mural that was in the Autorama. We're pleased to have John with us tonight to share all of his a lot of his research, not all of it, I'm certain. If you have questions at the end of the presentation, we've allotted time for John to answer any of your questions. So if you would please hold your questions until the end and then raise your hand, and Ann Rimler will be able to see who's got their hand raised, and John can answer your questions. So please, everyone, join me in welcoming John O'Leary IV. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Let's start here. So thanks, Ann and Barbara, for that introduction. So again, my name is John O'Leary. My wife is the granddaughter of Gus Reuter. And my first introduction to Melton was probably about a decade ago. Having seen some of the files that the family turned over everything to me about a decade ago. And it's taken me a long time to go through letters and photos and things. And so one of the ones I've come across is this. You'll see here this kind of bumper sticker that was for the Autorama. That was featured at the gift shop. I'm actually trying to track down what was sold at the gift shop. I've got a couple items, but I'm always on the hunt for more. And so this is Reuter's Coachworks. This is in the Bronx, New York. Doesn't look like much, but there's a strong family connection here. And a lot of the clients that came through here included Henry Austin Clark, who ran the Long Island Auto Museum, Arthur Watson. He restored his cars here through Gus, who was head of IBM. Ed Juris, who ran the vintage car store in Nyack, New York, also had his cars come through here, as well as Dr. Sam Shear. He was a noted plastic surgeon in New York, as well as raceman and yachtsman Briggs Cunningham. He restored a lot of his cars through Gus. In addition to some of the bigger clients he had, 2 presidential cars came through here. FDR's Packard 12 and Woodrow Wilson's Pierce Arrow all came through here to the Bronx. And I have photos of Woodrow Wilson's Pierce Arrow, and it still has the 1919 Virginia license plate on it. So here's Gus outside the shop. He was known as the Dean of Trimmers. He starts the business in 29 and is able, comes over right from Germany, and, they just couldn't understand how he could get the leather to do what it did, and the smells and the polishes and the colors he could get. And then he soon earns the nickname of Stradivarius of automobile restorers. I found an old business card of his from a former client from years ago. They kept it, didn't know what this was. So I was, elated when I was able to get a hold of it. Just another shot of the Coachworks. They actually lived behind the building. So you'll see the door here. They lived in the apartment above it. And one of the interesting stories is there was the window to the kitchen came into the shop. So my father-in-law tells the stories of, the grandmother handing sandwiches and stuff for lunch out through the window to everyone in the shop. I had the great fortune of visiting Melton's daughter, Margot, in Vermont a couple of years ago. I'm originally from Connecticut, but I live up here in Maine now. And in chatting with her, she was always wondering where her dad was on Christmas Eve. Well, come to find out, he was always down in the Bronx, hanging out with Gus, having a drink with him. And my father-in-law vividly remembers, this metropolitan-trained opera star singing to them on Christmas Eve. And he kind of grew up, when he was 5, 6, 7 years old, thinking that was normal. Like that happened to everybody, but not always the case. So as I'm going through all the coachwork stuff and all the files and everything, I come across this photo. And I believe it's an old, publicity photo, but it is inscribed. And it says, "To my good friend Gus, a great guy, with warm regards, Jim." And I'm like, "Who's Jim Melton? Who's Jimmy Melton?" And like, "You don't know who Jimmy Melton is?" And I'm like, "No, I've heard of, Frank Sinatra. I've heard of, some other actors and singers, but I didn't realize how popular Melton was." He's on the radio. He's hosting Harvest of the Stars on CBS. And I've been able to track down, a couple of old CBS radio theater tickets from Harvest of the Stars. Let's see, he's, I know personally, I think some of his music is better than the contemporaries, like Beyond the Sea, the big hit that Bobby Darin had in '58. I think Melton's '52 version is better, but I'm a little biased on that one. In addition to being on the radio, he's a movie star. So this is a lobby card from the 1936 film Sing Me a Love Song. I was able to track this down. It's in pristine condition. So not only is he's on the radio, he's a singer, he's a movie star. He earns the name of America's favorite tenor. And so this, I believe, is from 1941. He's doing 108 engagements a year, concerts, opera, radio, guest appearances, radio appearances. There's really nothing he can't do. He's
John, I'm sorry. This is Ann. Double click on the picture that you're speaking about so that it opens full screen.
Oh, is it not?
It is not, or you've shared the wrong window so that we can see the pictures you're speaking about.
How about now?
Try stop share and then reshare each individual picture.
Is that working?
No, we still see the full window of the thumbnails.
Oh, you do see the thumbnails, huh?
We see the folder, not the app or the program that has the picture viewer.
So you have to stop share and then reshare.
Okay. Is it not?
We see the thumbnails.
You don't, so when I enlarge it, you don't see it?
Correct. Okay, now that should work. Select one of them.
Let's see, let's get back here. You see that?
No, we are only looking at the thumbnails.
Can you minimize that folder to see if there's the program behind it?
It's still not coming up when I screen share here?
No.
Let's see.
You might want to try stop share and then reshare one more time.
Let's see. Can I do individual photos, I guess?
It seems like it. Okay, now we see a full screen, James.
Okay, you do. Good. And you'll see this one?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, sorry about that. So I guess I was clicking from the folder instead of the file. So sorry about that. Do you want me to start again? Do you want me to go through them?
Yes, please go back to the first picture.
Oh, sure. All right, so let's start. Oh, I clicked on that by accident. All right. let's go back here. So again, so sorry about that. So this was the bumper sticker for the Autorama that was sold via the gift shop. This is the Coachworks itself. This is the project I'm working on. This is actually a tax photo from 1940. So you see the lot and the block number, and then it's the borough of the Bronx. New York City took a tax photo in 1940 of every building and residence for tax purposes. And I was able to find this in the archives. Again, beyond thrilled, I found it. This is Gus. This is my wife's grandfather. Again, the Stradivarius of car restores, who starts, again, the business in 29 and almost should have theoretically failed because the Depression hits, but he gets a couple of big clients like Henry Austin Clark, Melton, Arthur Watson, and others. So he's able to weather the storm. This was a business card of his that I found. He originally started out doing painting and trim work and got into body restoration as well. This was the close-up of the Coachworks. And again, they lived behind it. So here is the door where you come in and out. And they lived in the apartments above the shop. So again, not a big, gaudy kind of place, just a small place you probably would have driven by. But some famous stuff has come through here over the years. And this was the photo that I first saw and having the family graciously turn over everything to me of Melton. And it's inscribed, let's show you this again. It says, "To my good friend, Gus, a great guy, with warm regards, Jim." So again, I was like, who's this Jim Melton guy? I had heard of Sinatra and others, but not Melton. So it prized my interest. I start digging, come to find out, not only is he's a jack of all trades. He's on the radio, he's got a radio show. Here's his Harvest of the Stars ticket stub. Someone had saved these and passed these on to me Wednesday evening. He's also a movie star. So again, this is the 1936, it's a lobby card that these would have been out in the theaters. This has survived over time. It's in immaculate condition. I'm very glad I have it. So again, not only is he a singer and an opera star, but he's a movie star. He earns the name of America's favorite tenor. He's doing all these engagements each year. This is from 1941. So it just shows you the concerts, opera performances, radio guest appearances, radio hosts. It's just kind of hard to quantify or name someone kind of comparable now. Again, there's no YouTube back then. There's no, multiple forms of media. It's the radio is kind of king in live performances. Great article I came across was from Musical America. So it says, when Melton sings, all of America listens. I thought that was great. He kind of had America's ear. He was too old to be drafted during the war. So he does a lot of stuff for fundraising for World War II. I have a great collection of old concert, promo posters. This one's from 1945 from Portland, Oregon. And then we start with the car. So as famous as he is as a singer and performer, this is the car that starts it all. This is the 1910 white. So this is the car that his uncle had when he was real young, and he was only actually allowed to look at it and polish it. Could never sit in it. Was too young to drive it. But starts the lifelong obsession with cars. Melton becomes one of the top names of car collectors in the hobby. He, along with Austin Clark and others, are known as the founding fathers of car collecting. He does it so long that Melton winds up sending this to Gus. It's an award from the Antique Automobile Club of America. It's undated, but it just says to Melton was president for a couple of years, and it pays tribute to him. Again, I don't know why he saved this. Unfortunately, Gus passed away in '86. So some of the stories are gone with him. I can't ask him why he saved certain things and not others, why he saved certain plaques that Melton gave him, when he got them, why he got them. I unfortunately don't know, but unfortunately, I'm glad I have them. And Melton just starts collecting. So this is the 1908 SPO racer. This is a Lawrence Tibbett who lived near him in Connecticut. It's a black and white shot of the car. It's a color shot of the car at Sebring. Again, gorgeous looking car. He had to get a special exemption. So these cars were not scrapped during the war. But because he knew everyone was well connected, he got that exemption. So these cars survived and didn't hit the scrap heap. But not only did he want to collect these cars, he wanted them drivable. So they were sent down to Gus, they were sent to others to make sure that, they could drive. So this is Melton driving in his 1914 Mercer. Some of the cars you would look at and were on display, but most of them, he wanted you to drive and get that thrill that he had while driving them. These are just some random shots from along the way that I've gotten. I kind of realize that I'm in a race against time when it comes to finding old photos of Melton and anyone that might have known him. So people have been sending me stuff over the years. This is him in 1961. He's at a car rally in New York. That's really all the notes I have on it, but you can clearly see it's him. Another great car was the 1908 Renault Vanderbilt Cup Racer. This car is currently at the Autorama Museum in Newport, Rhode Island. But what I love is Melton had all the great vanity Connecticut license plates. So, instantly it was one of his because of the plate. And again, this wasn't just put on display and, polished, he's driving it. So this, I believe, is 1952 or 53 from Bridgehampton. So he's racing the car here in New York. It's kind of hard to see the plate, but it's Connecticut. It says Frog on it because it's a little blurry because he's racing it. But I was able to track it down through the other Connecticut plates, these New York plates, that this is actually him racing the car. Another great car is that Daimler Green Goddess that he had. He got this car, it was like $25,000 or something like that. Just a crazy amount of money, but he wanted to have it. It's hard to see from this angle, but he had the Mr. JM license plate. This is when he took the car to Watkins Glen for the race that was down there. The interesting tidbit about this car is that Henry Ford II was intrigued with this car. So he wants to see it. Him and Melton meet. They actually go on Melton's yacht and they make like basically a handshake deal. And as a result, Melton then hosts the Ford Festival. Ford sponsors it. This later becomes known as the James Melton Show. And all because, Ford was intrigued with the car that Melton had. So, looking back, if you had an older car or European model, you typically would take it to Zumbach in New York. At the time, they were kind of the king of mechanical work. You see there's a rolls pulling in. Well, the story goes that one day there was someone doing work for a client, and Zumbach, whoever delivered the car, either forgot or got distracted and didn't take the invoices out of the glove compartment. Well, one day Zumbach sent, it was either overflow work or some work down to Gus to have it done. And what Zumbach would do is essentially just double Gus's price. So the delivery person for Zumbach is delivering the car. Once it's done, doesn't take Reuters' receipt out of the glove box, and the person finds it and decides to bring it to Gus directly. And that person was Alec Ullman. Alec Ullman starts the Sebring race down in Florida, also is living in Connecticut. Here you see the coach trucks behind it. Ullman knows James Melton. He knows Ken Purdy, who was the famed automobile writer. He knows another famed collector, David Tunick. So then he starts introducing them all to Gus. And it's not long before Melton starts bringing his cars around. So this is the big 1907 Rolls Royce, one of Melton's favorite cars. This has the Xmas license plate on it. This was the one that was so big you could actually stand up in it and the canopy would still cover your head. He's always out in this car a lot. You'll see here it is from the 1952 Glidden Tour. You'll see his daughter Margot here next to him. And again, has the Xmas plate on it. Another car was the Curve Dash Olds. This was the miniature one. And again, his famous license plate was half for half of a car, basically. I love this car a lot. He would always take this out. You'll see the Coachworks door behind it. This is down in the Bronx. Takes this car. It's featured in Autosport Review. You'll see the half license plate down here. Margot with him again. I got this great color shot of him driving the car. I just don't know who this is with him. I'm trying to research maybe if I can find out what the flag is. It'll give me a better detail of what it is. But it's clearly Melton driving the Olds, great old shot. And then this is him. This is Melton with the car on his yacht. So again, it was a half-size car. You could take it out on a vacation, take it different places, and it still wears that half license plate. Melton has so many cars. By 1948, he doesn't know what to do with them. And he needs somewhere to put him. He's got him on his estate in Weston, Connecticut, but he simply has too many. So the original deal with the state of Connecticut was he was going to donate the cars. So he would donate the cars to the state if the state built him a museum. Everything was all set to go. Everyone agrees. I think the governor of Connecticut signs the bill in January of 1941. Unfortunately, Pearl Harbor happens, the day that will live in infamy. There's no money being spent on anything other than wartime operations, so the money is deferred. It is kicked down the can for several years, and up until 1948, when Melton decides he can no longer wait. He's going to do this on his own, and he opens the Melton Museum of Antique Automobiles in Norwalk. So what's interesting about this is a converted bowling alley. So it's not a new building; it's a converted bowling alley. There's a restaurant attached to it, which is the Stirrup Cup restaurant. You can see there's several cars lined up in front, and they still have the crit. Again, different, not all, but a lot of the different dandy plates on the museum. Another color shot's a postcard of the Melton Museum, from Norwalk. You'll see, get a little better dimension of the building, again, the bowling alley here, the restaurant up front, and kind of overflow for cars out in the back. He just had too many cars. One of the challenges I'm having is, did he actually own them, or just he had them and he was looking to sell? Because as quickly as he would get some of these cars, he's looking to sell them. So this is a 1950 letter to A.M. Goodnetter in Minnesota. It's addressed to all members of the Veteran Motor Car Club, Antique Automobile Car Club, and Horseless Carriage Club, looking to sell some of these cars. He's got a 1905 Stanley, Locomobile Steamer, Fiat Tour. What's interesting about this is the 1903 Haynes. He actually writes fully restored by Reuter. He's actually asking $1,000 for it in 1950. So, kind of a bargain if you look at some of the prices of these things now, but just so many cars. He's got so many cars, doesn't know what to do with. Things go well at the museum, but just like anything, we have the harsh winters up here. So the attendance kind of falls off in the winters. So by 1953, he's looking for a new place to find and move his cars, and he finds it. Finds it in Hypoluxo, Florida. It's in a beautiful 11-acre property acquired by Melton that was once the fashionable Lakeshore Casino. It was originally built, I guess, as the Reinhardt home. It is patterned after the Beauvoir residence of Jefferson Davis in Biloxi, Mississippi. So again, you'll see the drive here down that comes through, and the main building here. These are some great old shots that I have of the estate before Melton bought it. Lakeshore Club. Again, notice here, and you'll see the pathway that would have gone down, both while it was the Lakeshore Club and then as Melton takes it over. Now, Melton's not just going to move to Florida and make a big fanfare of it. He made a 10-day journey to bring all the cars down from Connecticut to down to Florida. He's got several stops along the way. One of them is here in DC. You can see here it says it's on my way to the James Melton Autorama. This is Jumbo. This is the big Hartford fire engine that's here that's being towed down. The others were tried to be driven down, although some did make that last drive over Route 1. So as the cavalcade comes down, they make several different stops. You'll see the squirrel license plate here. He's given the key to the city in Fort Lauderdale. He's just, it's a big fanfare of this. Melton does nothing lightly and is trying to make a big splash for things. This is the Rockwell Hansom cab. This is the first, motorized New York City cab. And here he's got to hand crank it to get it over and drivable on Route 1. So I show you this. This came out in the paper opening April 25th, 1953. Florida's most fabulous attraction. I like this here, the $1 Million Museum of Automotive Memories. I kind of like that little tagline. But it just shows you, again, lists some of the cars. See the 1908 Renault, see the Ford, see the International Harvester. Just so many cars, doesn't know what to do with. Another shot from the Palm Beach Post. I show you this only to keep in mind, keep a notice on this, the 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. I'm kind of a stickler for the details, and you'll come to see this in a photos in a kind of minute or so. But the details of the 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. are important. So just keep an eye out for it. Melton knows he's got to do something good. So he's creating, postcards, souvenirs, little take-home souvenir plates. He's got a banner. I found this banner from someone who kept it for years. They toured the Autorama as a middle school student. And this one's in colors, 2 different colors. So you'll see, the women's dresses are different colors. Traditionally, some of these banners are just one color, or they're a color in white. So this has the yellow trim. It also tells you where it is. So the proximity to Palm Beach in the state, where it is here related to where it is in Florida. Again, great piece that I was able to track down. So this starts the Autorama. Again, the close-up of the main building as you would come in. This is the welcome wagon. There's just several different shots of this. I like this because it has the flagpole, kind of gives you a little depth of it. Close-up of the welcome wagon here. Hypoluxo, Florida. I really like it says the no smoking signs on either side. And then again, you see here the entrance way. And again, gorgeous looking building. Again, the light fixtures here on the side. Just all these little nuances that he really spared no expense on. Again, another close-up of the welcome wagon. You'll see the Autorama sign here. Just nice, you had cars literally greeting you as you came in. So this is the entrance door, and cars kind of come right at you. And again, Melton wanted you to be driving it. So here's people in the 1918 Dodge, which was kind of the car that most often used as people toured and drove around the Autorama. This is from part of one of the brochures. Some of the things you would see here, that he had dolls, he had tricycles, playhouses, bicycles galore, amusements. He had some of his opera costumes, so not just the cars, and also some stuff for kids too. This would have been a front view looking out of the front of the Autorama down the road as you came in. So you see the Ruggles bus, you see that the Dodge again coming through here. Again, the Rockwell Hansom cab out front. Different entrance sign on this one. I'm not quite sure what this is. I don't know if this is supposed to be a car. I can't tell what it's doing. So there's subtle changes over the years, which are always kind of interesting to see. So one of the original Autorama brochures, again, I like the $1 Million Museum of Motor Memories. Again, you'll see the Connecticut plate. He doesn't really change a lot of the plates over to Florida. A couple of them he does, but a lot he keeps the Connecticut plates even while they're down in Florida. And again, just another list, some more list of cars. Too many cars to keep a hold of. There's a Rambler in here, Packard Roadster, Speedwells, Stanleys, Cadillac. So not necessarily, this cars from early 1900s. There's, some of the brands that tricycles, you name it. But he knows, he's got to make a splash because he's not the only game in town. He's competing with Silver Springs. They have their carriage cavalcade that's going on. This is one of the Mercedes that would have been at Silver Springs. And then you also have Horn's Cars of Yesterday. So another competitor to Melton. This is a 1906, auto car that's down in Sarasota. So Melton knows he's got to make a splash. And I think he did a smart job with things. Here he is holding kind of a scale model of what the Autorama is going to be. I think he had more plans for it that never actually came to fruition. But this is a model of what I think is there. He comes out with several different brochures over the years. Again, I was able to track these down. Not sure exactly what year they are, but I think they're in order. So the first one, he's holding up his Sprite Wheels rolling book, which he actually thanks Gus by name in, Gus Ryder. I think it's on page 6 or page 8. And then we go into the second brochure that comes out. And then as the third one is in color. So that's late 50s, something like that comes out. I'm just thinking, not sure exactly on the years, but they're great old kind of keepsakes. And again, Melton wanted you to picture yourself in one. Come on and ride in the cars, the fire trucks, the stagecoach for the kids. Just try to entice people to come on down, try these things out, bring the family to compete with some of the competitors and get people through. So The first thing he did was he built this is the street scene entrance. So again, I think a real nice way is you come in, very, very easy to recognize where you are, where you're going to the Autorama. This is actually at night. This is one of the postcards the set that he sent out. But this is it during the day. And what I asked you to keep an eye on was that 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Because it's here. So open daily. So the hours do change a little, but 10 p.m. So this is one of the oldest shots I've seen that I'm able to track down of the street scene entrance. Because then the times do change. They get earlier and earlier. It comes 8 p.m., 6 p.m. Just a little nuance, but it's significant. The stones here in front, they change color over the years, as do the figurines here. These would have actually moved, and the colors change on the Autorama itself. Let's go this way. So here you'll see that. Notice the change in color from the marquee here. Some of the figurines have changed around, and you'll notice now it says 6 o'clock daily. So this is later. This has got to be later in the 50s because the hours have changed. So just, subtle little details, but it helps you place what year, what time frame these are coming from. Get another track of the Autorama. There was some kind of track or rail that went around here. I don't know if it's part of the trains or not. Again, I'm still hunting that one down. And again, you'll see here, you can't see what time it would have closed here on that side, but the colors have changed. So from before and after, the colors have changed. There's a little rearrangement of the figurines out front. And again, a car pulling into the entrance, just, great old shots of these that, are just kind of hard to come by. A little close up of some of the figurines here on that street scene. And it said, see world famous antique autos, toys, dolls, trains, carriages, music boxes, and the world's largest 3D mural of American history. So again, it's some of the shots. If the sun is in the way, you can't see the wording. So just trying to get as up close as possible, because this was one of the main sites to be seen as you pulled into the Autorama. This is coming from the other side. I really like this shot because it shows there was actually billboards coming the other way. So it says James Melton Autorama, Cyclorama mural of American history. Again, they're driving the 1918 Dodge. It's another kind of billboard over here. But what's really interesting is the sign that's next to the street scene entrance, home of the nation's famous Cyclorama, America the Beautiful. It took a few years to produce this spectacle. Bernard Thomas was the artist. See it now, there's music and narration by James Melton and Lowell Thomas. So it was continuous quarter-hour presentations. Again, little tidbit here that I wasn't unaware of, didn't know it ran on the quarter hour, gives you who the artist was, and also that there was narration and music by Melton. This would have been the entrance as you come into the Autorama. Again, notice the yellow stones that eventually, I guess, through erosion, wound up turning white. But I didn't realize, it's quite a drive down, which is kind of cool. And there's little nuances, little, figurines, cars parked along the entranceway that you really don't get to see and are really not mentioned in any of the old articles or things. So when you're looking at some of the pictures of Melton or some of the shots of the Autorama, they're kind of one-sided. So I kind of blew that shot up, and it actually says "Welcome Travelers" on the building. Again, you'll see the Detroit Electric, the Ruggles bus here, and it says information here on the, looks like this police officer with the stoplight, which is kind of cool. So as you come down, the Detroit Electric is here, is greeting you here. Again, this would have been driven. Here's a guest driving it. A close-up of the Detroit. This is actually what I've found interesting. It's the cloudy days are actually better for getting the shots of everything in. If it was a sunnier, brighter day, it would have kind of blurred everything. This is actually the fire. This is the Willys fire truck that's here out front. Again, the stones turn white. I think they're just not painted again. They were yellow. Here is that stagecoach for the kids. Another side reminder, as you come in, just announcing what it is, kind of car marquee on the side. Again, just these are lost pieces that were never really written about. This is that Ruggles bus, the 1922. It was actually given to Melton by the city of Toronto, Canada. I like this shot because it's obviously being repaired because it's missing the wheel. but here's a guest visiting with it. I really like this logo that he had. Again, I haven't seen that one around in a while, but kind of like how it points to where Hypoluxo is. Kind of just a cool shot that has gone around over the years. And there's another woman in the Ruggles, and you can see this is where the gift store was behind this building here. I believe this has survived. It's now a chapel, I believe. It was in the news a couple of years ago because it was moved over. And again, worth your time. You know, people riding in the old cars, which is great. Another close-up shot of the Autorama here. There's, you know, see where the parking was. Another shot of the gift shop here. It looks like there's birds or something. There's places to sit out. Just, you know, kind of an interesting place. Wish I could have gone there. Another close-up of the entranceway. You'll see that they've added some kind of lights fixture here to the shutters. Just unique stuff that's gone on over the years. Again, another family, you know, young and old, driving the 1918 Dodge. Can't make out the plates, kind of quite what it is. But again, everyone driving the cars. Everyone come on down, have a good time at this place. Bring your friends, bring the family, get to wave to everybody. Just looks like a wonderful time. Here's a close-up of that welcome wagon. Again, the gift store in behind him. Another great shot. He actually looks like he had a Richfield gas pump here. I don't know if this was working or not, but this was that Willie's FDNY fire truck that was here. So there's a family posing with it. Again, just, you know, great shot of the Richfield. I've read about that, but never actually seen the gas pump. So that's cool to see that. Locomobile that people get to drive. Just so many cars he had. This is the stainless steamer. You can notice the Gent Connecticut license plate that's on there. The Mercer Raceabout. Again, there were 11 acres here, so get to drive not only up and down the driveway, but I guess out on the lawn as well. This is the 1933 Chrysler. You'll notice the Tune license plate. I always liked that one. But not long ago, I actually found a picture of Gus working on that car. And then as you get into the Autorama itself, you'll come into this would have been the lake room. So it was a setting of indescribable beauty, featuring waxed museums. As you came into the entrance hall, there was Victorian style living room. Was a lovely, the French doors here. It was decorated with white and blue rugs and baskets of green hanging vine here. This is black and white shot that I have. I do have some color shots that I've been able to track down over the years. What's interesting on this, the 1911 Peerless is the Mr. TV license plate. And I've heard that's a dig at Milton Berle, because I guess Milton was hosting the Texaco Star Theater for a couple of years. And then he winds up transitioning over to Berle because he can't commit to the dates because his singing schedule is so busy. So then Berle becomes, you know, takes over hosting duties of it, becomes famous on that show for it, and it teased Berle throughout the years with the Mr. TV license plate. Again, this is that white Touring, the car that started it all from Melton here on the left. The REO here, you'll see the state of Florida flag behind it. Again, the 1904 REO that's in there. Another shot of the mannequins as you came into the lake room. What's interesting about this is the Packard that's painted Reuter red. So Melton wanted Gus to paint his car as a certain color that no one else could have. So he had it Reuter red. And then this is Gus with the car. I don't know if he's painting it or not, but this is clearly the car. This is that 1908 Packard Roadster with Gus in the Bronx, which is also now at the Autorama Museum in Newport, Rhode Island. So we also get to the America the Beautiful room. This is the one that Bernard Thomas, I think he spent 2 years doing it. Scenic Wonders of America from pioneer days to the present. It's depicted were scenes in the New York skyline to Niagara Falls, the Great Lakes, the Rockies, to the Great Western scene, national parks, and the Pacific Coast. Again, it's Autorama proudly presents America the Beautiful. It's the world's largest three-dimensional ceramic mural. This is the encirclement. I think I have a better color shot of it. And here you see Bernard painting. So this is him in progress, painting the whole thing. I'll go back to this one. Did I have? No, sorry. And again, it's all in color. You know, just what a unique thing this would have been to see if we had better records of it. Oh, here we go. So you'll see, this is what it was as you came in, the different cutaway. It's supposed to be this, 360 view, and, cameras welcome. Melton wasn't shy away. He wanted everyone to take pictures, and, unfortunately he didn't have Twitter back then, but tweet out all the photos and everything for it. But what a thing that would have been to see. Again, Bernard's the artist, music and narration by Lowell Thomas. Here's the encirclement. Again, just, great talent for Bernard to be able to do this. It's odd because you're just getting a snippet of this. You don't get the full 360 kind of view, but these are just different sections of it. This is the Civil War scene. So Jefferson Davis here, Lincoln. This is the San Francisco scene that he paints as well, which is, again, just beautiful, beautiful work that is done. This picture is kind of blurry, but what you can see here is over in the corner here, it says America the Beautiful, and this is the entrance to the cyclorama. It's the only one I've ever seen. It's not the greatest because it's a little blurry, but at least you see where you would have entered here. I believe this is off the lake room. I think this might have been over here in the corner where the window is. The elopement scene, I'm not quite sure because I can't quite tell, but I'm still researching that one. And then this would have been next to the shot here. If you would have looked right, you would have seen the Panner Levasseur here in the lake room. This was the firehouse scene. What's interesting is the two legs coming down the fire pole here. It's kind of hard to miss, or kind of easy to miss, I guess, as you first look at it. Would have been to the right of the visitor's sitting room. There's a Model T fire truck in here, and the fire hose. It's made to look like they would have been ready to go at a moment's notice. You'll see the fire chief and his assistant are engrossed in a game of checkers here. This is the mirror room. So this was spectacular rooms featuring giant antique mirrors. They had brass lamps, horns. It says the room had walls of natural straw, and the rugs were hunter green, surrounded by potted plants. So you'll see the white steamers here. And as you kind of look in, there's just, brass lights and all these toys and just this priceless, collection of stuff he had. This is the 1911 Maxwell. And what's interesting to that is what was it called? The famed Belgian prints here. These are the automotive Belgian prints you can see behind the car here. And then to the left of this, would have been the sitting room. The sitting room had celebrity photographs that were mounted on the walls. There was also step-by-step blueprints of the Autorama, which I can't see here and I don't have, but I'm still trying to track that down. This is the chug-along room, again, built for kids. So there's, toy cars and there's trains and everything else. So it's a place for kids to go in the grown-up Autorama. And unfortunately, this picture's taken in '61, shortly before Melton dies. He's only 57 at the time. And I just think if he lived a little longer, he'd be more well-known. Like you just think of someone like Rod Stewart, who, sings the Great American Songbook. Like I could just listen to Melton hit some other people. I know, musical taste kind of took a downturn, but I'm sure he would have recovered in the 60s. Again, he was friends with everybody, knew everybody. Unfortunately, after he dies, the Autorama falls into ruin. Again, you'll see the time here, it's 8 o'clock. The figurines here are gone in the street scene. The Autorama closes in October of '61, and then the building itself is razed and destroyed in October of '66. Collection sold to Winthrop Rockefeller, and then things have just kind of scattered to the wind beyond that. So now, but of course, when you come up to auction these cars, you can trace them to Melton, the price goes up. So it's one of these kind of just, the connection is there. It's a piece of history that I wish there was more of. So I'm slowly but surely looking through a needle and a stack of needles. But every time I find one, I'm always looking to add to what I have. And what I thought I'd do is I leave you with a short, like 2-minute video of the Autorama itself. And I have a little music to accompany with it here. Let's see. This is Melton's version of Beyond the Sea.
Okay,
and that, go ahead.
I will unmute everyone. If you would like to ask a question, Kay Gates, do you want to start with you?
I was just wondering if any of the cars in the collection, if you know if any of them were electric cars.
Yes, the Detroit Electric and the Baker Electric, I know were both electric cars.
What year was the Autorama started and who was Gus? I missed the connection.
Sure, so the Autorama opens in '53. So Gus was the restorer. So he was the one who basically took, Gus sent all of his cars down because Melton would drive all the cars and, be missing. The brass lamps need to be polished or something needs to happen to the car. So he took them all down to Gus and had worked on them, painted. Unfortunately, I just don't have receipts because Gus was so high in demand and because of his high, I guess, caliber clients, he never really had to advertise and didn't really keep good records, but he didn't need to because he was always busy, always had work.
Was this a relative of yours or where did you get all this information that you found?
Yeah, so sorry, Gus is my wife's grandpa.
Oh, okay. That's the connection.
So they graciously turned it over to me about a decade ago. They turned over all the stuff that they've kept over the decades.
What happened to all the cars?
Winthrop Rockefeller bought most of them when the Autorama closed. Unfortunately, Melton died without a will, so there was a lot of debts to be paid, and the family needed money, so they were basically a lot sold off to him, and then the rest have scattered over the years. So I'm trying to kind of track down because we like it doing it then and now. Some collectors keep good records, others don't. I know where some of the cars are now. Some collectors allow me to announce things. Others don't want me to say where they are. So it's kind of a cat and mouse game right now.
Sheila, would you like to repeat what you said about going to the Autorama? You have to unmute.
Yes. Yes, you mean, Anne, you mean when I was a kid?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I remember it quite well as a child. My parents took us there. And then I think we had school field trips there. So this was fascinating. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I hope everybody else did too. Very nice job, Mr. O'Leary.
Thanks. Yeah, no, it's funny. I've been hearing from a lot of students because I've got it mentioned on my faculty profile at University of Hartford, and people will find me on LinkedIn or just searching on the internet, and they've got something and they kept it and they don't know why, or either they went as a school trip or it was their parents or their grandparents and they don't know what it is and they don't want to throw it away. So I've been paying like the postage to get it, and they're like, I actually met a couple here up in Maine that were on vacation visiting their grandson. And they actually had a Melton Museum bumper sticker from the museum in Connecticut. And they were tied on by the employees in 1950. And, these are kind of like paper, cardboard. Most people discarded them. They didn't keep them. Well, this family kept them. I saw one like 20 years ago. I never thought I'd see one again. They came up here, talked to me, and wanted me to have it. So I've now scanned it. I have it because they were like, you know what? Our kids wouldn't know what to do with this. They'd throw it away. And it's just one of these unique pieces that I've seen it in a couple of photos that Margot has, Melton's daughter, but I've never actually seen one. So I actually have one as part of the collection.
Oh, that's exciting. Well, John, I think I mentioned earlier before the program started, I don't know if you heard me, that I had a few things a few memorabilia items from the Melton Autorama, and I have donated them to the Hypoluxo Town Hall. The current mayor, I think he tuned in tonight. And,
he did.
And anyway, I don't know where you're located, John, but if you ever get down this way, you should pop into the Hypoluxo Town Hall.
Yeah, I'm up in Maine, so any chance to go to Florida is a good one. Any reason to go is a good one.
Okay. Is that you, Mike? I think Mike might have been trying to click in.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah, I'm here. It was a great presentation, John.
Thank you.
We were the miners on Miner Road, just a few blocks from the Melton Museum. And I remember going in there, and of course we knew the artist too that painted all the cyclorama and all. It's just sad it's no longer there.
Yeah, I've actually been able to track down a couple of the authors who wrote articles about the Autorama when they were like first out of school or it was their first job. And I just can't believe I tracked them down. And they're just, you know, they've been sharing some things with me, other notes that they had, and one or two photos that they've kept over the years. So it's, you know, it's, again, I know it's needle in a stack of needles, but every time I find it, it's always something exciting.
And Dan, I wanted to see if you would unmute yourself and ask your question.
Sure. Great presentation, John. I appreciate that. I'm here in Atlanta watching your presentation. Grew up in Palm Beach County and moved up this way a few years ago. But have you, as a university faculty, have you considered a book about the topic, or have you written about the topic extensively?
Yeah, so I actually have 3 books going. One on history of the Coachworks, one on the Melton Museum that was in Connecticut, and then one in Florida. So I originally had them all combined, but then I was getting too much stuff, so I've separated them out. And I'm actually trying to develop a course on the automobile, whether it's automobile in America or New England or something like that. It's just become this, you know, it's big business now, especially with the age of these cars, the prices that they command, the short wheelbase Duesenberg that Briggs Cunningham owned, that went to auction. It was at the Revs Institute in Florida. It went to auction a couple years ago, sold for like $25 million. I have pictures of the car in the shop in the Bronx because Briggs took it down to Gus. I don't know what he did to it, but I have pictures of it because it had the DUS by the Doozy Connecticut plate on it. So you see that in the Bronx, and you know, so I'm trying to do that. I think a publisher might be interested in the photos, which is fine, but I'm still trying to find a publisher for it.
Good stuff.
This is Virginia. May I ask a question?
Yeah.
Or make a comment? I came to Boynton in the 70s, so too late to actually see the Autorama, but heard a lot about it. And sometime in the 70s, a group of us, I believe, were taken by Bernard Thomas to a location in Hypoluxo where the parts of the cyclorama that were not painted on the wall, but were standalone in front to give that 3-dimensional look, were being stored. And there was a lot of talk from the Historical Society of us trying to save them or do something with them. And I guess nothing ever happened. Do any of the members, Sheila or any of you, remember that particular endeavor trying to save those parts of Bernard Thomas's cyclorama?
Sheila here. No, I don't, and I think that Janet, our other historian in the area, would know better. I think there was some in the library, and they went to a school, but I don't know beyond that where they went.
Isn't there a piece or a section at the Women's Club?
No, that's a separate mural.
Oh, separate mural, okay.
Yeah. No, this was part of the mural. And Janet, I think Janet came much later. She was probably just a child herself back then in the 70s.
Right.
But,
hey, Virginia, right. So I did not go on that trip that you were describing. However, there was a piece that was donated to the archives that was the part of the American the Beautiful, the cyclorama. So it was last seen in the historical archives room at the library back when I worked there. It was kind of a winter scene. It was a blue part, and it had the mountains. So it wasn't the Florida part.
Right. Yeah, I was wondering which part it was because in this storage place, someplace in Hypoluxo, it was quite a few of them all around. I'm glad some of it got saved. Thanks, Janet.
You're welcome.
I just want to say hello and thank you to my cousin, Dan Suter, for watching and being part of this.
Hi, Sheila. It's good to see you.
Hi.
Okay, Barbara.
Okay, one of the benefits of Zoom, you get to speak to your cousin.
Yeah.
John O'Leary very much for an absolutely fascinating program tonight. I cannot begin to tell you how much I learned. I had no idea that that was a hands-on museum. That's just fascinating that people drove those cars. That's amazing. Anyways, if anyone out there has not remembered to renew your membership dues, our dues run from January to December. It's a yearly thing. We have a special offer going right now where when you pay for your membership, you are able to give a membership to someone who is not already a member. So it's kind of a BOGO kind of offer. I'd also like to point out that we will not be having a program or any meetings in December, but we will be back in the saddle in January with our Florida Highwaymen Art Show and Sale, which is scheduled for January the 15th of 2022. And we're very pleased to announce that it's going to be held in Boynton's new Arts and Cultural Center, which was previously known as our old high school, which has been graciously saved by our city leaders. So is there anything else that we should remind them of, Anne? I want to thank Anne very much for being our Zoom mistress.
You're welcome. And welcome as new board member Chada Shelley, who I believe is online. And thank you, Donna Artes, for returning as a board member.
Okay, thank you, John. If you were here, I'd give you a hug. That was wonderful.
Thanks, my pleasure. I'm glad I got to. It's been this has been a labor of love, so I'm glad I got to share it.
Is your book out published yet, or are you on Amazon, or what?
No, I'm still shopping it around, so I'll make sure to reach out and let everyone know when it comes out, when I get a publisher.
Yes, please.
You should reach out to Janet. Janet has experience publishing things. I'm sure she could point you to a good publisher.
Excellent.
Thank you, John. It was
Thanks,
wonderful.
Everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Good night, all.
Enjoyed it.
Good night.
That was great, John.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been like, it's some people have some stuff and they don't realize, it's one thing and it doesn't make sense. But when I'm able to then put it into a greater picture in piece, it tells a better story. So again, the woman who had the pennant didn't want to give it up for a while. So I was like, I just want to scan it. I'll give it back to you. And then when we talked for a while, she was like, you need to have this. Yeah. And so the same with the other. Actually, I got an old photo album and this from a guy whose mom and dad got married and went on like a tour of the Northeast, and they went to the museum in Norwalk when it opened in '48, and you see the wife and the parents driving in the electric in 1948. And so it's just one of these, like, I'd never find this anywhere else. It adds another piece to it. There's actually a guy here in Maine who has his dad worked at the museum from 48 to 53. And he loved the job so much, he winds up becoming like an architect or an engineer, something like that. But his favorite job of all time was still at the museum. He kept the shirt. He has his Melton Museum shirt. So he came down to see us a couple of years ago and he let me borrow it to scan it and all that stuff. And it's just a unique piece that I'll never find anywhere else, but it adds up.
Yeah. All right. Keep warm and thanks very much. We enjoyed that a lot.
Thanks, you too. Appreciate it.
Good night.
Night.